Hello, today is Sunday, November 1st, 2020. Book review. If the War Goes On. I'm not good with his name, so I'm doing my best to pronounce his first name and last name. Mr. Hermann Hesse. If the War Goes On. This book has 29 chapters. It's a non-fiction book. It is corresponding letters between Mr. Hesse and different individuals that they talked about during World War I and World War II. As I was reading this book, I noticed the same themes is resonating between this book and what Iranians are experiencing post the 1979 revolution in Iran. Mr. Hesse is a pacifist and wants to tell his readers how war is taking humanity away from people, or transforms them into soulless individuals that they no longer care about their well-being. Also other people too don't care. Page 11 says, the author gives reason for World War I and World War II. He was a citizen and patriot in the international world of thought, of inner freedom, of intellectual conscience. In the moment of his best thinking, he saw the histories of nations no longer as separate, independent destinies, but as subordinate parts of a total movement. It's just the mood, is the setting. On page 11, the author explains how good people transform into a cool person who no longer has any good thoughts toward another human being. That the attitude of our military men who treat an enemy prisoner with consideration becomes a living approach to our thinking, who are no longer willing to respect and esteem the enemy even when he is peaceful and brings benefit. The author foundation is under the premise of thou shalt not kill. It is the essence of Christianity which makes it different than other Abrahamic faith. The author drafts a letter to her minister and says, Beethoven's music and the words of Bible told me the same thing. They were water from the same spring, the only spring from which man derives good. And then suddenly, her minister, it came to me that your speech and the speech of your governing colleagues in both camps do not flow from that spring, that they lack what can make human words important and valuable. They lack love, they lack humanity. The end product of war, page 19. So I heard all countries look the same. Even the difference between belligerent and neutral countries had virtually disappeared since the introduction of the bombing free from balloons, which automatically drop their bombs on the civilian population from an altitude of 50 to 60,000 feet. National boundaries, though as closely guarded as ever, had become somewhat illusory. The same thing happened during Iran and Iraq war. Even the Iraqi people suffer a lot during that 8 years of war. It is so sad. What does war to people, like we're talking about political economic. Page 25. Practically everyone who is not a soldier is a servant. That makes life bearable for most people. A good many are genuinely happy. Little by little one gets used to the shortage. When the potatoes give out, we had to put out with sawdust grill. They'll season it with tar now. It is surprisingly tasty. We all thought it would be unbearable, but then we got used to it, and the same with everything else. Sometimes people question why Iranians are not rising up and toppling the regime, something like that. Why people are enduring pain? That's another thing that comes to my mind. Why are we enduring pain? And we could see injustices happening to us. I guess it's part of our condition to be submissive. Page 30. The essence of love, beauty, and holiness does not reside in Christianity or antiquity. It lives in you, in you and me, in each one of us. This is the one eternal and forever identical doctrine, our, our one eternal truth. It is the doctrine of the kingdom of heaven that we bear within ourselves. So he's coming and saying like there is no one true religion. It's not just Christianity, it's everything, whatever you have. Define war and peace, page 55. Who called war the primordial and natural state is right. Insofar as man is an animal, he lives by struggle, he lives at others' expense, whom he fears and hates. Life is war. That's a perspective, that's not his perspective. Peace is something we do not know, and that's like he's talking about it. And it is also important to understand Germany, how they were looking at war, policy of war, foreign policy of war. Being self-authentic, page 107, the world was not made to be better, nor were you made to be better. You were made to be yourself. You were made to enrich the world with a sound, a tone, a shadow. Be yourself, and that the world will be rich and beautiful. Be other than yourself. Be a liar and a coward. Then the world will be imperfect and seem in need of betterment. What kind of a world do we live in? Page 117. The world is cruel and incalculable. It loves only the strong and able. It values those who remain true to themselves. Others can achieve only short-lived success. Sounds like Machiavelli. Fortune goes after aggressive, strong man. That's how it sounds like it. Nature of humanity, page 127. Most humans depend on four things they desire too much: long life, fame, title and rank, money and possessions. And comes to the nationalism, talking about the page 149. These are letters going back and forth between peoples. So, was a natural citizen of Württemberg. The rest of us were citizens of Basel, where our father had acquired citizenship. It was not these circumstances alone that made us permanently incapable of any serious nationalism, but they had a good deal to do with it. It's a good thing for us both that with all the nationalists bluster in the world around us, our childhood and origins were mere recollection make us immune to such madness. Delusional people. And that's really, we see it like all of a sudden. Maybe there's a dictator somewhere, he's yelling, screaming. You say, wow, this guy has like some serious followers. And it is the same thing resonates. Like, for example, maybe there's a president, there's a prime minister that we don't like, and maybe most people don't like it, but it has the core people who are following that person. They say, whatever this person is doing, it's right. And that's page 159. Another group consists of former colleagues and friends who openly and unreservedly support Hitler's triumph progress all through the years. Now they write me touchingly friendly letters telling me all about their lives, their bomb damage and domestic cares, their children and grandchildren, as though nothing happened, as though nothing had become between us, as though they had not helped to kill friends and relatives of my wife, who is Jewish, and to discredit and destroy my life work. Not one of them says that he repents, that he sees things in an entirely different light today, that he was deluded. And that really comes down when I was reading this passage and I came to an end of it. What happened in 1988, the cleric regime began to mass murdering the left-wing factions. And sometimes has passed by, and those people who commit those crimes, some of them are they're living in the Western nations, and they're saying it. There are people, the surviving family, are seeking justice. They're not asking kangaroo court, they're not asking street justice, they're asking international bodies to bring these individuals before the judicial system, due process, to find them guilty or not guilty. What is the reason? They want answer for what they did to their loved ones. And there are some individuals like they come and they say, no, let's not to go back and look what happened and forget all about it. And this is the part, the last sentence. Not one of them says that he repents, that he sees things in an entirely different light today, that he was deluded. And that was the part, the message I got. It's a really good book. It's a real good book. I hope people read it, have fun. Cheers.